Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Dropping Into Happiness. Our countdown was much faster than usual. We weren't prepared for that day at 1. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, welcome everybody. We are your hosts. I am Rachel.
And I'm Maggie.
Hello, friends. Well, this one's going to be a little bit quicker than our usual ones. Maggie and I know we've talked about it, and if anybody's ever followed either of us on social media or within our WW workshops, y'all know that Maggie and I are both very active people. So we've just got a lot going on, but we love you guys and we didn't want to leave you hanging. So we squeezed in an episode this week. And what we're going to be talking about this week, which we felt was very appropriate. It's still the very early on in the month, but we want to talk about goals. You know, we always wrap up an episode with our STAR goals, but we kind of want to tell you guys how we break it down and how we tend to do that. We might have touched on this very, very early in our whole series, but like like I said, beginning of the month, we really want to talk about that STAR goal. So for just quick refresher for anybody, a STAR goal, that STAR acronym stands for something that is specific, truly doable, having an action, and it's relevant. So I always use this as an example. So you're like, oh, I want to stop drinking soda. That's not an action. So maybe our goal would be every time I want to have a soda, I will drink water first and then reevaluate. And so that's the active part of it. So do you do, like I said, I don't know if I've asked you this question in the past, but do you do are you more prone to the bigger goals, like a month-long goal, or the weekly/daily goals? Because I know some people want to do each day and be like, okay, cool. What am I going to work on today? But I've had members tell me recently, she's like, you know what? I just really like a bigger picture. I really like to pull back and I want to have a month-long one. I mean, I do too. I mean, for those friends on YouTube, I will write out for an entire month and then I break those down. So where do you tend to lean more towards, Maggie?
So it's definitely varied in my journey. Just kind of depends on where I'm at. And for me, I'm a wash, rinse, repeat kind of girl. It takes a while for me to really build habits. And so I'll have STAR goals that repeat over and over and over again, because I think about, okay, let's say I'm building the habit of tracking. Well, 26 years of my life, I did not track. So it wouldn't make sense for me to have a tracking goal for 1 week and the very next move on to something else. So I think I'm a week by week person. I also, for those that might not know, Rachel and I both are WW workshop coaches, and I've been a workshop member since I joined WW. And so a lot of the times my weekly goals may be inspired by the topic that we're covering in the week. So the week that we're recording this, we are discussing portion sizes, finding the right portion for you. And so I'll share my STAR goal at the end like we normally do traditionally, but it ties into that topic, which is not always the case. So for me, I would definitely say I'm more of a week by week, if not a daily goal setter, daily. And I like to call my goals intentions.
Okay.
What is my intention for the day? What would I like to accomplish? So we've talked about it in a podcast where, Rachel's the planner girl. I'm the post-it note girl. So it's like, I just jot down like bullet and I try to conquer that in the day, because sometimes the bigger picture, if I set those bigger picture goals, I get lost or I forget. So for me, I just got to keep it like right here.
But I love what you brought up, though, the wash, rinse, repeat. I think so many of us feel that, especially if we do those smaller ones, the daily, the weeklies, we're like, okay, I should have conquered that. What's my next move? And that's not always the case. If it's something you still feel like, I need to work on this, I didn't quite get to where I wanted to be, or like you said, building those habits. Okay, I haven't really built it as a habit yet, so I'm gonna keep going. I think so many people feel that they need to master things quickly. And that's not the case at all. We've talked about that. Yeah, that just consistency is key, right?
Yeah, we don't have to reinvent the wheel every single week or every single month. Like I said, just because something did go well, it doesn't mean we've mastered it to the point where we can go on autopilot. For me, a lot of the goals that I set, they're things that I'm working towards where I want them to be so natural to me that it's like brushing my teeth or taking my dog out for her daily walk. It's just a non-negotiable. And so a lot of the things that I'm, making goals are not yet those non-negotiables, and I want them to be. So I have to keep reiterating that to myself until it becomes like something that I don't have to second guess.
Well, and something we talked about in virtual workshops last week was our why. And if anybody
Mhm.
ever wants to know mine and Maggie's why, I believe it was episode 1 was why did I want to lose weight? And that comes down to that why. And a why is different than a goal. So I
Mhm.
always use my why kind of as I always want to think of it as an umbrella, but then
Mhm.
my goals are just those little stepping stones I do to get towards that why every day. Like, this is why I'm doing all of these goals. So I had to look
Right.
at that a little separately too, but I always have that big overlooking picture of my why. And I
Right.
think
And
that's important to hold on to too.
I stopped setting weight related goals into like I
Mm-hmm.
have my bigger picture goal that I would like to hit, but I hear from folks sometimes that say, "Oh, I have a goal of losing 2 pounds this week."
Yeah.
We just can't control it. So I try
Mm-mm.
to just set goals on things that I can really control and focus in on, because it feels really good when you say, I'm going to drink X amount of water every day this week, or I'm going to go on this
Mm-hmm.
many walks this week. It feels really good when you prevail, you conquer that goal, even in the midst of like challenges or obstacles that came your way. Whereas you could do everything right and the scale doesn't move in the direction you wanted to or in the amount that you wanted to, and then you feel discouraged. So I think it's important to remind ourselves that our goals need to be things that we can control. Like, even if
Yeah.
everything went to chaos, what's something we can accomplish?
And
That's
hold
what I
on
try
to,
to set as a
yeah.
goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, because even like when people say, "Oh, I had a terrible week," I always want to ask them what made it a terrible week. And every so often, it's because one day out of 7 they didn't hit a goal, or like you said, they're like, "Well, I did everything, and then I still put on a half a pound." And I'm like, "Okay, wait, tell me all those awesome things you just did, and how was that a terrible week?" But
Hmm.
we do say that a lot. Focus on what you can control, and I think that's just such a great basis for any journey, no matter what. And very early on, remember I told you when I had that epiphany, I didn't even realize I had stopped making weight related goals. I didn't even
Mm.
realize when I had shifted to that. But when I did shift to that, like you said, it's just things we can control, things that we can within our grasp. Like you said, if everything is a world full of chaos, like I've had a crazy couple of weeks, but do you know what? I never ever faltered in, even though I wasn't getting in my activity and I wasn't able to get in, my tracking. I never ever stopped drinking my water. See, shameless
Mhm.
plug to our awesome new cups that I got me and Maggie. I just have to send
Yay!
Maggie hers for those on YouTube.
Can't
But
wait.
yeah, I all every single day, I did not falter on my water. And so to me,
Mhm.
that was still me staying very top of mind, even though I didn't track everything every day, even though sometimes I would, because I would be on the go and be like, okay, let's just grab this real quick.
Yeah.
But I never felt like I had failed. I never felt like there was like, oh, I didn't hit that this week. No,
Yeah.
because it always in the back of my mind, no matter what comes along, if I can still maintain my water, I'm solid. Like
Yeah.
that's a win for me.
I think the big misconception with goal setting is that you have to go from 0 to 100 really quick
Yeah.
for it to be a goal. It's like, I
Mm-hmm.
have to have this lofty goal. So to think, okay, I want to be more active, right? Well, that's a start. How can we get specific? Oh, well, I'm going to go to the gym for 1 hour, 6 out of 7 days this week. Well, how much did you go to the gym last week? Oh, I haven't stepped foot in a gym in years. Well,
Yeah.
then why are we telling ourselves we need to be there for an hour for 6 out of 7 days?
Yeah.
Maybe we do that for a week or two, but then because we didn't slowly build up over time, we get discouraged. I
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing the other day because it came up on my Facebook memories. It was 5 years ago, yesterday, June 4th, that I signed up for my first full marathon, having
Oh.
never ran a 5K.
Oh.
I literally was Googling
Yeah.
couch to full marathon training programs to see if I had enough weeks. And
Yeah.
it was a 24-week training program. And from the day I signed up, I had 31 weeks until the race. So I went on Facebook and I was live and I was telling people that I was doing this. And I was like, this might sound crazy, but if
Yeah.
y'all know me, you might not be surprised. But even still, I didn't roll out of bed and try to run the 26 miles,
Yes.
right? Like, I had that bigger picture goal and then I broke it
Mm-hmm.
down. I said, okay, couch to
Mm-hmm.
5K.
It was
All
a
right,
process.
accomplished. 5K to 10K, right? And then there were a
Mm-hmm.
couple weeks where I had to repeat some things because my body and my mindset needed more time. So
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to have those bigger picture goals, those bigger whys, but then you have to break it down into the smaller, doable chunks, or it just will feel impossible.
Oh, yeah, and meet yourself where you are. Because, like, I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, you were not ready for a marathon, but that didn't mean you couldn't get ready for a marathon. So you
Right.
started where you were, which was the couch. I mean, let's be
Mhm.
honest. Like, that's why they have those
Yep,
apps,
that's
because
why they have it.
a lot of times that's where we're starting from. And that's okay. But yeah,
Mhm.
meet yourself where you are. Because, like I said, I've had a really, really rough few weeks. So I've gotten very much so off of my tracking. I've got very much so off of my activity. So my goals for June was really like, here, I'll read you off my list. I have it sitting in front of me. So these were my goals for the overall month. And then once I make those each week, I kind of see, okay, what am I going to focus on this week? Right. So for June, I have track my breakfast every day. Because
Mhm.
I was very good at tracking everything, but I've gotten so off. I'm like, okay, just my breakfast. Because I usually have the same breakfast every day. So I'm going to track my breakfast every day. I'm going to go
Mhm.
on one walk per week. Just
Mhm.
one. And it doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to be 3 miles. I just want to go on one walk per week. I'm going to drink my 60 ounces of water at least 5 days a week. Because that's during my weekdays, like my work weekdays. I have a very good schedule, so I'm really good at keeping that water in hand. I'm going to strength train 2 times a week, but only for 15 minutes. As long as it's 15 minutes, I'm okay with that. I'm going to go on a date with my husband, which I did yesterday. So
Yay.
check off the
Check.
list. You're gonna enjoy this one. I'm gonna jump rope one time this month. I know we
Oh,
got our jump ropes.
yeah.
We got into it and then it kind of slid off. So just once in the month, if I can just get my jump rope and go outside and do it once this month, I will be happy. And I want to finish reading the book I'm currently reading, which I'm rereading the entire Harry Potter series. So I'm on book 2, Chamber of Secrets, and
Nice.
right, Chamber of Secrets, is that the second one? And
Uh,
I'm going to finish that book. So I'm just a little bit into it. So, and like, but those are, like I said, I feel like those are very much so going back to basics for me, but I'm okay with that. I'm in maintenance. I'm in lifetime. For those of us who are WW members, you know what that means. But it doesn't have to be, 0 to 100 again. And
mhm.
I'm okay with that. So I'm, like I said, just tracking my breakfast. If I track everything, awesome. But if I just track my breakfast today, wicked. That was what I was shooting for. And that,
Mhm.
I think we can absolutely go back to basics, or like when our lives are getting crazy, just have that one thing we can hold on to. But so yeah, I write mine out like that every month. I'll do a whole of them and I have a little box next to it so I can check it at the end of the month. I will recap. How did I feel like I did? What could I focus on the next month? Because I'm a very visual person. So I have my notebook because I want to go back through it. I know you have just your post-its
Right.
everywhere, but I have a book that I can go
Mhm.
back through too and be like, hey, have I progressed from this? Is this something I want to do again? Something I want to
Yeah.
repeat? And that works very well for me.
Yeah, I think it's great we're having this conversation because we're about halfway through the year. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's very normal in January to set goals and set
Yeah.
intentions, but it's still not too late to make the most of 2022 and to, carve out the next 6 months for our health and wellness. So I think it is great that we're having this conversation about goal setting. And for me, if y'all have been listening to the podcast, the most recent weeks, my goal has simply been to track before I eat my food.
Mm-hmm.
And, 8 times out of 10, I'm doing that. There's still some times where I eat and then I go back and track, but it's becoming more frequent that I am hitting that goal. So for
Nice.
me, I want to continue that because again, like I said, wash, rinse, repeat, and I know I'm
Mm-hmm.
not I'm not near perfect. And
But
we
there is
never
no
are.
perfect. Yeah,
We
there is
never
no perfect.
we never are. But again, like I want to get to that part of routine where tracking feels like brushing my teeth. So
Yes.
until I am there, I just
Yeah.
will be relentless. And then I do have a goal for this month. There is, for those that might know me, I've been doing Orange Theory Fitness for a little over a year, very
Mm-hmm.
consistently. And that is a big part of my routine where I don't have to think about it too much and I don't really have to set workout goals most often because I know that's just something I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But I've been following a few people on Instagram who are a part of a different gym in my city, and they just look strong and they look like they're having a lot of fun. So I was like, I kind of want to just try out that other class, like try out that other gym once this month to
Fun.
see if I like it because I know
Yeah.
they incorporate a lot of strength training, and I have
Yeah.
this vision of being even stronger than I am now. So that's one of my goals is to just try that because you get a class for free.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people might not know, that if you're listening, is a lot of group fitness gyms and things like that will offer your first class for free.
Or
And
like
so
first week. I know a lot of my places get like a
yeah,
week to check it out and see how you
week
like
or
it.
like summer specials this time of year, because that's usually when people start dropping off. And
Yeah.
so definitely check out like if there's a gym that you've been interested in trying, or like a class, to see if they have any kind of deals. But I think I'm gonna or I know I will do that this month of June. So that's one thing that's special. And then, in terms of this week's technique, like I mentioned, we're talking about portions. And I'm still trying to learn what the proper portion is for me,
Okay.
because I love food, and I will justify a portion to, I'll fit it in my points budget somehow, some way, even if I could have been satisfied with half. Or
Yeah.
will eat because it's there, not because, I think about like the tortilla chips that come in the basket at
Oh,
Mexican
yeah.
restaurants, and how like in the back in the day I could eat an entire basket of chips like no
Oh, yeah.
problem. Now it's not nearly like that, but I feel like I'm not aware. Like, am
Yeah.
I really satisfied at 12 chips? Am I satisfied at 8 chips? Am I satisfied at 25 chips?
It's a tricky place to find that satisfaction, and stopping at satisfied. That's a
Yeah.
very tricky place. But it's once you can master that, because honestly, when it comes to my portion sizes, I can stop eating with half the food on my plate and be like, no, I'm good. But it
Right.
took
And
me a very long time to get there. It did.
I'm not
Mm-hmm.
there. And so I think for fun this week, I'm setting the star goal to use the smaller plates that I have
Smart.
for at least one meal each day. So, because I have like, the normal size dinner plates, but my partner's mom, she always eats off the tiny plates, and she'll say, I'll have whatever I want on my tiny plate, but it just
Yeah.
has to fit on the plate. And so I thought, okay, I could put my portion on the plate,
Mm-hmm.
eat it, take a pause, and then see if I still want more, I could go back
Yeah.
and get another portion. But just to kind of give me a guideline of
A
mindfulness.
starting place.
So,
Yeah.
and at first I thought, oh well, I'll do it every meal this week, and I was like, I don't know if that's realistic. So
Yeah.
just pick one meal a day to use the small plate and just evaluate
I
from
don't know
there.
why this is such a random fact that comes into my mind. And I read this a very long time ago and I cannot solidify its authenticity. But I read a really long time ago. So to eat on a smaller plate and make sure that plate is blue. Because for some reason, food on a blue plate makes it less appetizing. I don't know why. I read that a really long time ago. And I swear I'm going to try to fact check that and see if I can find where I saw that. But yeah, on a blue plate. But when you said that, it made me think. So my niece the other day, we wanted to get her just this cute little fun, like kind of summer plate. And it was
Mhm.
smaller, but I don't know why they get to have fun plates. But it was
Right.
broken down into like,
Mhm.
and it had little pictures like this should be meats, this should be veggies, this should be fruits. And I'm like, what a really cute little plate like that. Like, why can't I have one? I
Mhm.
mean, obviously I could just get it for myself and use it. But I mean,
Yeah.
think about that. I mean, I swear I was just teasing the other day that like when we go out to this one particular restaurant, I will not get their burritos because it's humongous. I always get the kids.
Mhm.
I order off the kids
Right.
menu because that's like a normal
Yeah, we
size for
talked
me.
about that with the
And
fast
but
food.
the plates, like get a kid's plate. Get the little plate
Mhm.
that has the little dividers if that's what you need, just to kind of see that and visualize it. I don't know. I really
Yeah.
like that cute little plate.
Yeah, because like I said, you don't have to just force yourself to have that plate, but
Yeah.
it's a nice place to start to then
Yeah.
evaluate, like maybe I need a little bit more, or maybe that was the
Yeah.
perfect portion or not. So that's definitely my goal for this week. We'll see if I want to wash, rinse, repeat it or not.
Yeah.
I'll update y'all in the next episode. But I think that'll be fun. So for me, a lot of my goal setting is wash, rinse, repeat, like I've said, and I think that's okay. I think we need to
Mm-hmm.
normalize that a little bit.
Building
But if you're someone
consistency.
who needs to shake things up every now and then, like throwing in that extra goal of let me try the smaller plate. Like
Yeah.
that's okay too. And knowing that you can reevaluate your goals at every time,
Mm-hmm.
anytime that you need. Like, and as Rachel was mentioning our why, yeah, we recorded our why episode, 6 months ago now.
Yeah.
I think it's time to make another one, because again,
Yeah.
I feel like our whys are constantly evolving and changing,
Oh
like as we
yeah.
go through the seasons of our journey,
Yeah.
and it's just important to reevaluate them, especially middle of the year. I think that's a good
Mm-hmm.
time to just do like a quick recap and reevaluation to
Well, and
see
I
if
feel
things are
like
still relevant.
my why that I had 6 months ago was my why that I had established when I wanted to lose. Now
Hmm.
I'm in maintenance and I don't want to gain. I want to maintain. So my
Hmm.
why has shifted a little bit. Um, yeah, that would be kind of nice. I'm telling you, we're going to have to do another episode of Stop Saying These Words because there's like two things I wrote down the other day that I was like,
I
oh,
know there were
buddy.
things that I forgot to say, and that
We have to
episode
do
I
another
had
one of
the
that one.
that episode I have the most regrets that I did not like that I thought of things after the fact.
Write them down. I have some written down too. We're going to have to do like a part two of that episode because like something was said the other day and I was like, oh, that should have been in the episode. I was like, we're just going to have to do another one. We will.
And we need
And
to
that
do
one,
another Q&A.
another snacks episode because we found more
Another
snacks.
snacks episode. And I feel like it would be fun too to just do an episode of favorites, just like favorite things that we love from the month. Like
Oh,
can be health and wellness. Y'all know me when I do my recommendations at the end, they're usually like random products. They have nothing
yeah.
to do with what we're talking about. So like I would just love a whole episode dedicated to that. So
I know. Yeah. So what I'm
but
telling you that we're going to have to do a repeat of a couple of them. So and that'll be fun. But yeah, I mean, I love that one too of another one of listener questions. And guys, remember, we love your questions. We always want to answer your questions. We love when
mhm.
you guys send us in your words of inspiration, the quotes that mean something to you. We love when you guys do that. Recently, we've been voting. We have been voting on a name for you guys, and I have a top 3, and I might still use all 3 because I cannot decide. I love them so much. I'm still getting votes in, so if you want to vote, go to Dropping Into Happiness Pod. There's a post. See Maggie showing it for our friends on YouTube. There is a post, and it has all of the names that you guys had pitched to me and Maggie, and just place your vote. So hopefully for the next episode, we will have the official name for you guys. We've been thinking about starting a Patreon, and so I'm thinking we can have levels and use the top 3 as our 3 like level names.
Yeah,
But
that could be very cool.
so much fun. I love when you guys can interact with us. I mean, because we say this in our WW workshops too. Like, guys, we are not just coaches. Like, we are members. We are living this. So we love to interact with everybody. And I get ideas from you guys. I get meal ideas. Like, look I was just showing Maggie. She had recommended this. I want to say either last week or week before last, like the Mega Babe. I bought it. I went to Target and I bought it. And I used it yesterday when I went out to an event because I had shorts on and tank top. I was double doing it. Oh yeah, I'm embracing, right? Embracing the summer. Yes.
Woo-hoo.
So we want to hear from you guys. You can always email us at droppingintohappiness@gmail.com. Like I said, interact with us on any of our socials. We're actually on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I think the most engaging though is our Instagram. This is where everybody likes to engage. But so, I mean, I read you guys off my June goals, but so just for this week, I'm, like I said, and tracking my breakfast every day is a wash, rinse, repeat for me. I think I said it either last week or the week before last. So I'm still just really focusing on tracking my breakfast, drinking my water, but now I'm going to add in a couple of these other things. Like I want to go for a walk this week and I want to strength train and just start building my routine back up. So, but yeah, so my recommendation for this week is like Maggie was saying, find the products, share it. Like embrace the summer, embrace the process, but find what works for you. Write it down, put it in a Post-it, put it on, a big whiteboard, whatever you need to do when it comes to your goals. Just find what's going to work for you. I've even said I wanted to do a 3D vision board, which I still have yet to do. And I still really, really want to do a 3D vision board. So whatever is going to keep your goals top of mind, no matter how big, no matter how small, all goals are valid and, absolutely doable. So that's kind of my goal and my recommendation for this week as we wrap up.
Yay! I mentioned my goal, aside from tracking before I eat, is to try the smaller plate method just to see how that goes. 1 meal a day this week. And then in terms of recommendations, y'all know it's like random product time. But I mentioned before that I love my Built Bars. And they have a newer bar out. It's called the Built Bar Granola Bar. And I had told Rachel on the phone this morning was chaotic and I had not eaten prior to our recording. So I just grabbed this out of the fridge, but it's a nice texture. It's the same like dark chocolate coating, but then it has granola inside and it's so filling and there are only 4 points on the WW program if you're a calorie person, 150 calories. So my favorite is the chocolate coconut. And as we're recording this, they are still on the site. And something that y'all might not know about Built Bars because they do special releases pretty often is that you can buy a box or two and then keep them in your freezer, and they actually last a really long time. So you can like stock up on your
Nice.
favorites. So if you love chocolate, peanut butter, chocolate coconut, highly recommend.
I love chocolate and coconut. So I still have yet to get some Built Bars. Like I really do. I want to
Oh,
join.
girl, I
want
just need to send you some for your birthday.
I know, right? Because I guess I'm so paranoid because I don't want to get a whole box. So I'm like, what if I hate it? I'm that
Right.
person. So I'm like, I want just like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I want to try it. So, woo. All right, friends. Well, we do have to wrap up this episode because, like I said, we got places to go, people to see. I got graduation party to get to. I mean, Maggie needs to eat. Like,
Yeah.
things to do.
Right, like priorities. No, y'all come first.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we wanted
Thanks
to make
for hanging
sure.
out with us.
Because we have had so many people be like, if you guys wanted to talk for an hour and a half, I'd be there for it. So we're like, we did not want to leave you guys hanging at all. So we love you guys so much. Thanks for listening and thanks for dropping by.
Have a magical day, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.